that have more detail than what I'm going to actually say, so I'll give that to you afterwards. As I think some people in this room know, in 2004, my cat Toonces was given an insulin overdose by his veterinarian son, nearly killing him and causing him devastating permanent brain damage. I filed a complaint in which I asserted over half a dozen violations of standards. The board issued charges pertaining to only one, a violation of supervisory requirements. The board fined the veterinarian $250 and stayed its 30-day suspension, enforcing not a single day of it. I am concerned by the fact that the board acts on only some of the violations brought to its attention. I demonstrated in my case the following violations that did not result in charges from the board. No notice of lack of monitoring as required. The veterinarian actually admitted to this in letters to the board on 2 different occasions, yet the board did not issue charges related to this violation. False statements made to the board. I have detail in my statement about this of how I proved these false statements, but I proved at least 3 false statements that were made to the board in writing by the veterinarian, and yet the board did not issue any charges related to violations of Maryland Code pertaining to honesty or of the ABMA principles of ethics. Record-keeping violations. I also proved record-keeping violations. For example, records for my cat were dated February 2004 when he wasn't even a patient there then. The type of insulin given to him was not recorded, nor were the times at which it was given, yet the board issued no charges related to record-keeping violations. Puzzled by the board's failure to enforce its regulations, I wrote and asked why it had failed to charge the veterinarian for these violations. The board responded in writing, saying that it basically is under no obligation to explain its decisions. I have since met other Maryland citizens who filed complaints with the board and have seen a continuing pattern of failure to act on demonstrated violations. I have seen numerous letters of censure issued by the board, which are not formal disciplinary actions, in which the board acknowledges that a violation occurred while simultaneously dismissing the complaint. For years, I have been counting on sunset review of the board, scheduled for 2011, as my opportunity to voice my concerns to state government. I recently learned, however, that legislation was passed postponing any sunset review of this board until 2021. That decision, I learned, was based on a report drafted by a committee that was in turn based on input primarily from the Veterinary Board itself. This appears to me to be a conflict of interest. The vote to continue the Veterinary Board without a full sunset review has deprived citizens of their opportunity to have a voice in the review process. The last full sunset review of this board took place in 1989, 21 years ago. By 2021, the board will have operated 32 years without a complete sunset review. As you wrote me in 2006, telling me you did not have to explain your decisions to me or any other complainant, after that time, I vowed that I would speak out about the bias that exists in the Veterinary Board's complaint process, a bias actually noted in the 1989 Sunset Review, a bias against regulatory enforcement, against consumers, and against pets. With the cancellation of Sunset Review for 2011, one forum for consumers like myself to speak has been shut down. I owe it to Toonces to keep my vow. I have and will continue to call for public scrutiny of this Veterinary Board, which is in desperate need of a full external review. Thank you.
Anybody else have any comments?
Okay.
Thank you for your time. Thank you for coming to our meeting.
Great, I think